All right, so this is a position that I like to start off with for a little bit of like neck and cervical posture, but then also engaging some trunk stability. So the initial position is just starting with my head down. I try to create a little bit of tension in my lower abdomen. So I tell people, I want you to feel like you're kind of pulling your belly button away from the table, like you want to put a small tunnel between you and the table or the floor. And I want to feel like I'm kind of lightly pulling the front of my pelvis, my pubic symphysis or my pubic bone right here. I want to feel like I'm kind of pulling that into the table, which helps create a little hollowing of my belly button away, right? And that just creates a little stability in my lower lumbar. So when I do that, I create that little bit of engaging of my lower abs, right? My belly button pulling away. And then I like to go into this chin coming up towards my throat, retraction position. I'm pushing through my elbows and kind of pushing my shoulder blades apart as I bring in my head up against gravity. I want to make sure here I'm not hiking my shoulders, so if anything I'm pulling my shoulders down a little bit away from my ears. That little bit of a downward pull into my elbows, it kind of helps me keep my lower abdominals engaged to some extent. Now from here I like to take it into a plank position. So same concepts of that hollowing of my belly button away from the floor, pulling my pubic bone into the ground. As I come up here, I want to have my elbows a little bit more under my shoulders. So as I come up, I'm actually going to pull into my knees, and I'm going to come up into this plank position. So I really have to pull into the top of my knees and pull into my lower abs to pull me out of this collapse. So I'm really watching to get that little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. You know, see, I'll tremble here a little bit because it's almost like my knees and my elbows are pulling against each other. And I'm going to hold for maybe like 5 to 10 seconds to start, and then I come back down. So one more time, as far as checkpoints that I go through to get to that position are going to be, I do spread my hands a little wider. I want my elbows underneath my shoulders. I still think about that little bit of a pull into my lower abdomen and pelvis. Okay. I bring my chin up, and I bring my head up, and I push my shoulder blades apart. And from here, I keep that tension into my elbows, and I kind of pull into the top of my knees. Like I said, it's like my elbows and my knees are pulling towards each other, but you know, the friction of the floor kind of stops that from happening. So it's a great way to progress from this just lifting my head against gravity position to coordinating it with some decent trunk control.